We awoke to an absolute and complete flat calm. It's probably the calmest I've ever seen the ocean a distance offshore. It was just absolutely flat. There wasn't the slightest trace of breeze. You could have dropped a feather and the feather just would have floated gently down onto the deck. So we felt that we were almost certainly in for a day of just wallowing around or starting up the engine and getting motoring. And that's the way it turned out to be. We started the engine, we got going. But before I did that, decided to dip the tank. We've got a fuel gauge on the tank, but it doesn't work. At least we don't have any confidence in it. So I went down to the bottom of the cockpit locker, removed the cap where the device is fitted, and was able to dip the tank. And it transpires we've probably used about half of the fuel that's on here. We think there's about 100 gallons on here. We've probably used about 50, which would pretty much marry up with the approximately 50 hours of motoring that we've done. We think she consumes about 1 gallon an hour. So that's okay. We decided to keep motoring, and we kept on motoring and actually just stopped the engine. It's now 5 o'clock in the afternoon, ship's time, and there's just a little bit of breeze, so not very much, but I think it's probably enough to get the sails up, and when we finish doing this we will do exactly that. Maybe we'll go sailing at last. We've seen a little bit of wildlife again today. We saw some more dolphins not so long ago, about an hour ago. They didn't stick around for very long, there were just a few of them. But again, wonderful creatures. Tried to get the GoPro in the water, but sadly I put in the one that had a full card on it, so that didn't work out. We saw a couple of tuna, at least I think they were tuna. They looked like skipjack tuna. They're about this long and about that wide, and they were right alongside the boat, just here, not 5 feet away from the boat, and they were just racing the boat, just in the shadow of the boat. It's pretty cool to watch, actually. Very close. Should have been quicker getting the line over the side, and then maybe I could have caught something. Saw another BLT, Bermuda longtail, this afternoon, yet again. I think it's the same one. I think it's stalking us. I think that's the truth. And we've just passed. We're actually passing over a thing called the Somme abyssal plain. Abyssal plain. Very deep part of the ocean between here and Newfoundland. So the sea's pretty deep right where we are at the moment. And we should just about be getting into the Gulf Stream or the North Atlantic Current. I guess they're both one and the same thing. The water temperature is meant to drop a little bit when you do that, and that should generate some clouds and stuff like that. And we certainly do have clouds pretty much all around us at the moment, which we've hardly had for the last 6 days. So I suspect that we're just coming into the Gulf Stream here, and we were determined to keep going north until we hit that, because in the absence of any wind, at least we'd be getting a little bit of current helping us across towards the Azores. Should run about a knot, or maybe even a knot and a half at this time of year. So we should be right in the middle of that by the time we get to the 39th parallel, and we're just about 12 miles short of the 39th parallel. So we're going to keep going north, north and east, and then when we hit the 39th, if we've got wind to sail, we will turn on a rumline course for the Azores at last. But if the wind's still a bit fluky or it dies away again, we'll keep going to the 40th parallel. It's another 60 miles, and we'll turn onto basically an easterly bearing and head across to the Azores, either slowly or quickly, or something in between, I suspect, with the good Yacht Koru. So that's been our day. It's been a day of tuna and dolphins and BLT, Bermuda longtail. It's been a day where Mr. Bigglesworth has caught up on a lot of much needed sleep. Go for it. This will be Bigsy catching up on a little bit of much needed sleep. Excuse me. The pussycat has probably slept 90% of the time. So today, given that we've been trying to fish, and we had the fish over the side and the dolphins over the front, I've been developing a cunning fish cam, the GoPro Hero fish cam, on the end of the deck scrubbing brush, the deck scrubber. So these things you can film upside down, or you can film the right way up, and we've found that when we're going along, it's very, very difficult to hold it physically against the pressure of water. So I put it on like this, and if the boat's going in that direction, probably that's the best way to hold it, something like that, over the side. So it's filming like that. You try to do it the other way around. It is possible, but pushing into the water, wow, it's quite difficult. But anyway, I'm very proud of that. See, improvisation, fantastic, huh? Go, be a hero. And the other thing we did today was, given that it was so calm this morning, it was actually so hot as well. We know that when we left, we've been having trouble with the depth sounder, and I think that maybe there's some fouling over the sensor under the hull. So I decided to go over the side and have a look at it. So that's what I did. Took a scrub and brush with me, a little scraper. Nikki took the shark watch. Well, actually, she didn't. Just filmed me on the GoPro, or actually on the camera, on the flip cam. And went under the boat. It's fabulously clear under there. The water is just really, really clear. You can see the entire length of the yacht and probably a whole distance beyond that. But of course you always have this sensor. Are there any great white nasties out here? Anything like that? Is there anything with teeth? Well, it's an ocean, and there almost certainly are things with teeth. But that's okay. They weren't interested in a skinny little thing like me. So I swam around the boat a couple of times. I did get underneath. I scrubbed the sensor. So we've done what we can with that, and it'll either work or it won't when we get into shallow enough water, so we can test it. Took a little bit more weed off the side. We've got a little bit of barnacle and weed growth on the sides of the boat. Not very much, just on the waterline. And then swam out, probably no more than 20 yards. And I have to say, the boat looks very, very small on a whacking great big ocean. And I filmed it with a camera. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. Very romantic, beautiful sun, beautiful light. So I have my little dip in the middle of the North Atlantic. The sea is only 5 miles deep. Why would you not do it? Fantastic. I did that in the Pacific Ocean as well many moons ago. So I now have 2 oceans. There's a whole bunch of other oceans still to go. So there we are. We're about to put the sails up. It looks like we're going to be able to go sailing. Fantastic. Meanwhile, Mr. Bigglesworth is standing watch. See you tomorrow.
Hi Bob, what day is it today? Because you forgot to say.
Today is day 7. Lucky for some.
And how far did we manage to motor yesterday?
We motored, didn't sail anything. We motored 60 miles on the log, and then overnight we drifted a further 5 miles. So we actually did 65 miles, made good over the ground. 65 miles, that's only not even much beyond half of what our planning average is. But hey, it's okay, it's good. It's the ocean. It's the motion of the ocean.